Here's a common scenario. Guy meets girl, girl meets guy, they're all over each other. It's hot and heavy for a couple of months, but then the guy starts to lose interest. Maybe he's a little less enthusiastic when they meet. Maybe he just outright ghosts her. Maybe she sees the handwriting on the wall and breaks up with him preemptively. Or maybe he breaks up with her. But what comes next is a fairly common scenario. She accuses him of lying to her. You lied to me. You manipulated me. You didn't want a relationship. You just wanted sex. I'm a victim. Now, if you're the guy and you hear this, this is kind of an insult because most guys don't overtly lie to women to get sex. Sure, it happens, but a lot of guys don't do that. But is there more truth to this metaphorical accusation than meets the eye? Here's a very, very interesting theory from evolutionary psychology. Way back in the day, we lived as hunter-gatherers. We were around the same people our entire lives. It wouldn't make any sense at all to lie to anybody. If you lied to somebody and got caught, you would get kicked out of the tribe. So probably few people would ever think about lying to somebody. But then, as the theory goes, we discovered agriculture. And we started to live around people that we might not ever see again. So it did make sense to lie in some situations, according to some people. And they would lie to somebody and say, hey, here's a sack of potatoes, when it was really half potatoes, half dirt. And so long as they didn't think they would see that person ever again, they could sell twice as many potatoes and make twice as much money. But this went on long enough, according to the theory, where the people being lied to developed an anti-lying intuition, where they could sort of tell that somebody was off, somebody was not really quite congruent. There's something about this person, I don't really trust what they're saying. I keep your potatoes, that's all right, I'll buy them from somebody else. And that went on long enough until the liars developed a very advanced lying strategy, where they would first lie to themselves, they would believe their own lie, so they could lie more congruently and sell more potatoes or whatever. And this is kind of where we are today. And this theory presents itself, or this human nature aspect of human nature presents itself by us believing things that aren't true, but we believe them so that we can more congruently go after instinctively pleasing things. We believe things that aren't true because those false beliefs help us to more congruently go after instinctively pleasing things, like sex, food, money, status, power. These are basically the 5 things that all humans are after. And this explains a lot when you look around society today. It explains why politicians can say something one year and then say something completely different 2 years later, but they don't think they've contradicted themselves because they believed it here and they believe it here. Or if you know somebody that had a certain personality, then they got into a relationship and their personality completely changed. And they believe this is the way their personality has always been because they're believing new things that get them consistent access to you know what. Or if you followed anybody on social media and watched them become more and more popular, their ideology kind of changes over time. Because when they're small and they have a small audience, their beliefs are maybe more congruent with their original beliefs. But as their audience gets bigger and bigger and bigger, their beliefs change so they can more congruently say things and believe things to get them a bigger and bigger audience. This is kind of why power corrupts. The more power somebody has, the more they want power, and the more their beliefs will change to use their power to get more power, and it just kind of spins out of control. This is also why people that have huge social media followings kind of feel like they're not really meeting their purpose. They're not really on purpose. Their life is kind of empty somewhat. Same with actors that become famous because we have these short-term instincts that are always being yanked all over the place by making us believe things to go after this, then we believe this to go after this, we believe this to go after this, and we're kind of going in circles. It's kind of like when you go shopping in the supermarket and you're hungry and you don't have a list. Your instincts get yanked all over the place by all the food in the supermarket, and you end up buying a bunch of stuff you don't want or you don't need, or you probably shouldn't buy, like frozen burritos and popsicles and all kinds of sugary stuff and processed food and stuff that'll make you go off your diet. Now, this is also why this false belief to go after instinctively pleasing outcomes is also why we cheat on our diets and we can cheat on our spouses and not feel guilty. If you're on a diet and you've been on a diet for a while, if you just cheated without really thinking about it, you would feel guilty and you wouldn't really enjoy the food. So you come up with this belief that makes you believe on a subconscious and conscious level why it's okay to cheat on your diet so you can more congruently enjoy the food. Similarly, if you suddenly get a super hot secretary, you could just bang her straight away, but that would make you feel really guilty if you're married. So you have to spend some time and come up with a rationalization of why it's okay to bang your hot secretary and not feel guilty. This is a very, very complex dynamic, but it's very, very interesting to understand how people say things that they don't really, or they did believe before, they believe now, but it's also very dangerous for self-development. Like going into the supermarket without a list, you buy all kinds of stuff you don't want because you're being yanked all over by the short-term instinctive pleasures. But if you go through life without a calibrated ambition, a consciously chosen ambition, you're going to get yanked all over by these short-term instinctively pleasing things. You'll believe this and go after this. Then you'll believe this and go after this. Then you'll believe this and go after this. And this is why social media superstars and actors kind of feel empty, even though they're super successful. They're not going after anything that they've consciously chosen. They're just being yanked all over, and it just so happens for them, for whatever their situation is, they're yanked in a direction that gets them more money and more fame. But they still don't feel like they're choosing their lives. They don't feel like they're choosing their purpose. This is why they can feel empty. So to avoid this, be very, very critical, be very honest with yourself. And you have to have an ambition. If you don't have an ambition, if you don't build a plan for your life, you risk getting yanked all over by these short-term instinctive pleasures that alter your beliefs. You'll believe this, you'll believe this, you'll believe this. You'll be running in circles and never really go anywhere. So whenever you think about going after something for an instinctively pleasing belief, food, sex, money, status, power, ask yourself, does this situation help me with my overall life's ambition? This is a problem that a lot of people that go after girls find. They want to get better with girls. They want to be able to seduce girls and have a lot of sex with girls, but they realize after a few years they're just kind of being yanked all over by these short-term instinctive beliefs, these short-term instinctive pleasures like sex, and they are never really going anywhere, and they kind of feel empty. So to avoid this, be brutally honest with yourself. Start with an ambition for your life. Start with a chosen purpose for your life. Is this thing that's pulling you off to the sides, is that helping you with your purpose, or is that sidetracking you? And just think about this, and the more you can build your ambition to be a counterweight for these short-term instinctive pleasures that alter your short-term beliefs, the more you'll stay on your purpose, and the more you'll stay going towards your purpose. So think about this, come up with a solid ambition for your life, and always ask yourself, are these beliefs I'm having that are making me do these things, are they helping me achieve my purpose, or are they sidetracking me? Did I choose them, or did they choose me? You can either choose your purpose consciously, or let your conscious mind be overtaken by your subconscious and your short-term instinctive desires. This is essentially the recipe for a successful life. To understand and manage your instincts and let them support your goals instead of your conscious mind being taken over by your instincts and running around in circles your whole life. So think about this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you'd like to learn more about how to understand and manage your instincts so you can live a successful life, check out the links below. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.